Okay, we're talking about the 13 colonies. Now in the TEACs, there's a lot of information about the 13 colonies. And I'm going to divide it up to hopefully make it a little bit easier to remember, to digest and remember into 4 different sections. One for the New England colonies and the colonies in the middle, and the colonies down here in the south, southern, middle, and New England colonies. And at the end, the last short video is going to be a brief word about 2 documents and a body that shows, because the teachers talk about students need to know about moves towards more democracy, okay, in the early colonial time period, right? Now, colonies, 13 colonies were created. This is just our little overview, just a little preview here. Were created over a 125-year period. Over a 125-year period from 1607 to 1732. That's Virginia. That's Georgia, the colony of Georgia. 125-year period. And it remained under British control until 1783, at the end of the Revolutionary War. And the population grew a lot. We talked about how, when we were looking at European exploration and settlement, how the population eventually in the British colonies far exceeded the Spanish and the French colonies. Well, it started at about 2,000 people in the year 1625 to around 2 million, or some say 2.5 million people by the time of the Revolution. So from 2,000 to 2 million or 2.5 million. In, was that 150 years, 151 years? That's a huge increase, okay? And they started with 2 events that happened about the same time. We pointed out Jamestown earlier. That's here in Virginia, 1607, okay? Here, 1607. And then the Pilgrims, all right? Pilgrims, 1620, okay? 1620. That was here in Cape Cod. The Pilgrims were here. Puritans were in Boston. The Pilgrims were in Cape Cod. I don't know if you see that on the map, but it's out on the coast. It's the boot, right? Kind of looks like this in Massachusetts over here. So 1620, that's when the Pilgrims landed. Jamestown was settled 1607, right? Some similarities between those two. You might get asked the question, I don't know, but it's possible. They both had about 100 people. They were both really unprepared. Jamestown settlement was really unprepared. Pilgrims were really unprepared. They both relied on help from the Native Americans, and a lot of them died. About 2/3 of Jamestown's original settlers died, and about 1/2 of Plymouth, that's the Pilgrims, about 1/2 of them died. The difference is, Jamestown, they were merchants. They were settled with permission from the king, founded by a company. And the Pilgrims were looking for religious freedom, okay? So different purposes for going, but a lot of similarities, once they got there. Okay, so just in case you see a question about that, all right? But that's when the colonies started, about that time, 1607, 1620, all right? So the next video is going to be about the New England colonies.